just saw an ellie dash across the road. We will get back to the birds. There's so much for LBJs for the moment, but we will get back to the birds. But let's have a look at the largest land mammal in the world. So as I know, a lot of you who regular viewers have heard me talk a lot about approaching elephants. So it's always very important. And I'm actually going to show you, for those who might one day go on a self-drive in Kruger, how to read an animal's behavior before you get too close to get yourself in a potentially bad situation. So I can see, there we go. It is a breeding herd, so obviously you've got to be more careful with the breeding herd than with bulls. I'm just going to move forward. The fact that one was running, I'm not sure whether it definitely wasn't running from us, but whether it's unrelaxed or another elephant was chasing. So they can definitely hear me. I'm talking quite loud. And they're both sides of us now. And you can see just from their body language, they know I'm here, but they're not taking much notice of me. I'm still quite far away, but now immediately I can see, look, feeding, ears flapping, tail is down, so showing no signs of discomfort or stress that I'm close to them. And there's some other elephants that are much closer to us on the right, and again, we can't really see them through the thick bush. Obviously I can see a bit more, and I'm not seeing any of that sort of displacement aggressive behavior that you sometimes get. So again, now moving now slowly, and before I get even closer, if you do have a four-wheel drive, you always, now it's being difficult with four-wheel drive. There you go, you pop your vehicle into low range, and even this is that it's quite slow, and the reason for this is you keep the revs of the engine, so I can move without having to use the accelerator, take my feet off the accelerator. The engine's a nice sort of calm level, and there's not a lot of revving, and so when you're in a low range you don't rev a lot. And we can see this is, oh, look at this, it's a big bully. Hello, my boy. And I'm just trying to check if he's in must. Now that's a very important thing when you approach an elephant bull. And you look between his back legs, see if the inside of his legs are wet, and there we go. That's very, very normal elephant bull behavior. Shakes his head. He's not actually being aggressive. He's lifted his head. He's just letting us know how big and strong he is, and that if he wanted to, he could cause problems for us. But you can see he's just letting us know. He's probably about 15 meters from us at the moment, and it's very, very nice. And you can see now he's sniffing along the ground. He's actually not paying much attention to us at all. And there we go, he's looking for nice green grass. There we go, and he's got some into his mouth. There we go. So you can see now his behavior has changed. Oh, sorry, Andrew. Sorry, I'm making Andrew look bad. That was my fault. I wasn't watching my monitor. So his behavior has changed. You can see he's dropped his head. His ears aren't out anymore, and they're just flapping normally. So he's let us know he's here, but now he's relaxed in our presence. And the rest of the herd that's around him basically took no notice of us. And boys like to look big and important, so that's quite often why the bulls will do that more often than the cows. It doesn't matter the age of the male, he always likes to be impressive. So if you ever do find yourself driving around where there are African elephants, hopefully a few little pointers there that will help you make sure you stay safe and keep the elephants nice and calm around you. If the ellies ever are upset, and you will see that behavior immediately, that head up, the ears out, the tail almost is one of the best signs. If the tail is slightly erect, the animal's uncomfortable. And if you're not sure, rather keep your distance from the elephants than going closer. Fortunately, we obviously spend an inordinate amount of time with elephants, so we're able to read sort of slightly smaller body language signs that we can see whether the elephant's upset because we're there or because they're upset because of another elephant or a possible predator in the area. So hopefully that helps anyone who's planning on going on a safari and visiting the Kruger National Park. Hello, big boy. So Liz Lapa says she's been watching the Smithsonian Channel and she's found a show that's got elephants walking through a 5-star lodge in Zambia. Believe it or not, the owner of that lodge and is a very good friend of my father's, and both my father and I have been there, and it's called Mfui, and the elephants regularly walk through the reception, and I've actually seen them do that. And in some areas where lodges have been around a long time, the ellies have come to accept those lodges as sort of part and parcel of their life, and quite often one must remember that lodges are on rivers and that, and so that's areas that elephants like to utilize a lot, especially during the dry seasons. Look at those eyelashes. I'm sure there's a few jealous ladies out there wish they had eyelashes that long. Raid Freak on YouTube is also commenting. She said absolutely loves their eyelashes. So this is a nice big adult bull, probably between 30 and 40. And can you believe this? And look, you can see the actual mud stuck to the eyelashes from his last little mud bath for cooling off. And just in case anyone was wondering, can you believe that we are live out today in the African bush? So you are enjoying the largest land mammal in the world at the same time we are out here. And also, if you have any questions about elephants in particular, since we are sitting with them, feel free to send them through. You can drop me an email on questions@wildearth.tv, or you can use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. And if your question doesn't get answered, we apologize. We do get a lot, but keep sending them through, and eventually we will get to, or try and get to as many as possible. I'm just going to move forward a little bit. So again, now back to a lesson for everyone who might drive around in elephant country at a point in their life. When you start your car with elephants, you can see he immediately reacts. And if you start moving immediately, then sometimes he might chase you. So he's actually working out perfectly. He's being very well behaved in teaching you guys how to drive around ellies. So you let your car run for a few seconds, and what that does is it is obviously a foreign noise generally for an animal. So you let it run for a few seconds before you move. So he's now got used to it, but his body language has changed again. His ears have gone flat, and he's carrying on with his daily movements. So, and again in low range, nice even revs. I don't have to use the accelerator. I'm in second gear, and I just let the vehicle move forward slowly. And also, you can hear I'm talking normally, calmly. You don't want to have too many sort of loud pitch changes. All those type of things animals pick up on. So we're going to leave the bully for now, and he's feeding off a baby marula over here. There he is. And the rest of the herd seems to be moving through closer to the road here. So we've got some females and hopefully some little ones. Oh, there's another bull coming through as well. There's also some big cows here. There we go. There's very, 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 very nice behavior and body language here while we talk about these. So obviously they can see me, they can hear me, but elephants really like and trust their sense of smell. So what she was doing was lifting her trunk and smelling us. And see, where I've positioned myself, the ellies are moving towards us. I'm not moving towards them and putting myself in their space. So if they come closer to us, it's sort of by their own choice. And you can see she smelt us, she can hear us, and she can see us, and she's decided we're not a threat. So James Taylor is wondering, do Indian elephants have the same body language? James, I've never actually spent time with wild Indian elephants, and I've seen very few. Sorry about the spray noise, it's getting quite hot. I'm just popping some sun cream on. There we go. I've also given the ellies a lot of space to move. They could have chosen to go to the front or to the back of us. And with all animals, when you do spend time close to them, it's always good to give them a route that they feel safe moving out of. So, James, as I said, I haven't spent that much time at all with Indian elephants, but Andrew actually has. Did you in Sri Lanka, Andrew?
Yeah, they're very similar.
There we go. And I wouldn't expect them to be any different. Oh, look at this little female coming. So quite often with the youngsters, they'll show a bit more of that sort of slightly upset display. But see, watch her tail. She's still fine, and it's actually more fun for them than anything else. I'm just going to move the vehicle so we can be parallel to them. Let's do that. This is actually another really big group, and as the drought sets in, we seem to be getting really big congregations of elephants. And there's a couple of different theories about why this happens. But see, there we go, another youngster displaying sort of slightly more or less relaxed. And you see the tail. That is a really good sign. Now, again, we can't take youngsters seriously. So if an adult female started doing that, then we would behave. Look at this. Hello, little monster. That's a little female, probably about 8, 9 years old. And again, we need to watch the adults. The adults will tell us whether the herd is actually unrelaxed. The youngsters, quite often, it's not so much being upset as playing in some circumstances. As we can see, adult female, very relaxed. I'm guessing, again, there's probably about 40 or 50 animals that at the moment. I mean, everywhere we look, there's just ears flapping, another ellie there, and there's a good 15 or 20 behind us already. So Barbara's wondering, do elephants have traditional pathways that they follow no matter where it goes? I wouldn't say no matter where it goes, and I think they do have pathways that they prefer. But these will be areas that they move between food and water. When they're feeding like they are now, they can be spread out over quite a wide area. But when they get sort of that water walk, quite often in single file, they hit one of the big ellie highways that crisscross the bush and head off with quite some speed or actually sort of dedication towards a certain point. And of course, during different years, certain highways will be used more than others. And you'll notice now, and especially when every time we go around where there is a bit of permanent water, like the Djuma and Vuyatela, so the Galago and Vuyatela pans, you'll find those big. Oh, there's a little one, Andrew. I was hoping we'd see. Oh, he's a tiny baby, I'm probably less than a month old. I can still see with that backlight quite a bit of fuzzy hair. He's sitting between mom's legs. So, less than a month old. Just that it hasn't lost all that little bits of fuzz. There we go, more ellies. So, obviously, elephants, that's a big female. Elephant tusks are magnificent, and the bulls tend to have bigger tusks than the females. And Anna Marie's wondering why there are more tuskers in the Tembe area. Tembe is to the south of us. Or the southeast of us, on the border of South Africa and Mozambique. It's a reserve that's owned by the Zulu chiefs in that area, and it's called Tembe Elephant Park. Here we go. Hello, little monster. They are so cute. Mom, I'm thirsty. And it's quite possible, especially with all the elephant movements at the moment, that we might be one of the first vehicles this little guy's ever seen. And there's two young boys having a go at each other.
There's babies, there's ones behind
There's
us.
babies, there's everywhere. We don't know where to look. There's elephants completely surrounding us. And as I said earlier, it's very important. Now, we've parked in a position that they've decided to come close to us. We haven't forced our way into the herd. I mean, this one was literally 2 meters behind Andrew. And there's two young boys who are playing quite nicely, tusking each other in the bum. Anna Marie, I will get back to your question in a second when the action slows down a bit. Oh, I'm so happy there's so many elephants around at the moment. They do bring me such joy. And hopefully bring you all joy as well. I know quite a few of our viewers love spending time with ellies. And to quote my cameraman, Andrew says he doesn't feel like he's been on a drive unless we see ellies. He says it's great seeing lions and leopards and all that, but for him, ellies are what give him the most joy on drive. So it just seems to be a never-ending parade of elephants, and there's a nice little word for you guys. A parade of elephants is the original colonial collective. Now here we got a teenager, so this could be fun. Sometimes they like to play with us. See, ears out, probably head shake coming. You might even give a little trumpet sometimes. There we go. Look, he's thinking, oh, should I, shouldn't I? And what we saw there is sort of quite interesting elephant behavior. It's sort of displacement behavior. He was thinking about shaking his head and being a big deal. But because we didn't move and we kept quiet, he sort of, oh, I'm just going to eat this plant now. I wasn't actually going to do anything. So ellies are so much fun, and especially these young males. They can be full of nonsense. And quite often, sometimes when you're driving, you don't see the ellies initially. These young boys come charging out of the bush at you like a really big deal, pretty much like a teenage boy. And then as soon as you sort of switch off the car, stop and ignore them, they come to a grand halt and then sort of panic and run back to mom screaming at the same time. Yeah, I know you're kind. Now you look sheepish. Go hide under the bush. Yes, go fight with, there we go. So there we go. Oh, listen to that, the tusks locking. So all this play fighting we're seeing here is really important for when they get older, and they'll have to compete for mating rights. So we see that the temporal glands on the ellie on the right are secreting. So it's tusk in the bum. It can be a sign of stress. But also with these type of ellies, teenagers and young ones, sometimes their temporal glands are secreting because of hormonal changes as they get older. So not always and only a sign of stress, it could be hormones as well. These two are quite a similar age. I guess they're probably both around 12, 13 years old. And because of all the testosterone and whatnot racing through their bodies, they can be quite naughty and cause quite a lot of havoc. So they can be chased out of their natal herds by their mothers and aunts because they cause so much trouble when they do this. And having two bulls like this. Wait, Andrew, look at this one playing on its knees. Oh, it's sitting on its bum. They're having a good old fun time there. Look at that. Full of the joy of life. Little female. So when you see elephants do that when they're playing, so it's basically she's trying to entice the other one to chase her by getting into a weaker position. There we go, and it seems to have worked. She's enticed the other ellie into a game of catch me. And you can see she's all those head shakes and stuff, and just having a good time in the cool early morning. So Anna Marie I haven't forgotten your question, but the action is still going. So we will discuss the tuskers of Tembe, and also Monkey Man's got a follow-up question on how long the elephant tusk can get. So I will cover both of those. But while the ellies are active, let's concentrate on what we're seeing, and we can always talk about what we're not seeing a little later. So there's those two playing. We've got these two also at it again, those two young boys. Actually hear their tusks clanking against each other. Oh, did you hear that, Andrew?
Yeah.
There's big tusk collision somewhere off to the east of us. So I'm going to move forward a little bit, see what we can hear, what that was. That sounded bigger than these guys who are also still locking tusks. That sounded a bit more serious. A big bull at the back there, and I'm wondering if he'd lock tusks with another bull. Oh, look at this in front of us, charging, chasing each other. And you see now, all of a sudden, the youngsters chasing each other sometimes gets the females. They don't know what's going on, so the females suddenly start speeding up as well. And that's all havoc caused by teenage boys. Look at this coming, Andrew. I know you guys, oh, what's going on? I don't know. I've got to catch up with Mom. Oh my God, panic, panic, panic. See, now all of a sudden, okay, very important, you watch the behavior has changed. I'm not going to go forward. So that was, there we go, trumpeting. Elephants playing that has suddenly become not so much play. And now they're a little bit stressed and worried, and the females don't know why. And I think it's got a lot to do with that big bull, and we heard that big tusk clash. So there could be a big bull who's must somewhere behind here. That could be chasing the females, looking for a female on estrus. And that could be why all of a sudden there was a bit of panic there, coupled with the youngsters playing. Well, here comes some more females. And I can see there's slight little movements in that body language. Why all of a sudden there was a bit of panic there, coupled with the youngsters playing. Well, here comes some more females, and I can see there's slight little movements in that body language. He's not as relaxed, and there's the reason. There's an 18 to 20-year-old boy, probably harassing the ladies, as most 18 to 20-year-olds do, and some 29-year-olds. Andrew, Joseph Francis, and so that's probably what's going on there. And there's another young bull coming out. So I think those are what we heard, those tusks clashing. It sounded a little bit more serious. It probably was still play fighting between two young bulls, but being much bigger, those young bulls probably weigh well over 2 tons. So bigger than a female already at that young age. And there's the poor harassed female who's trying to get away from them. We're just going to move forward now. The other ellies that were a little bit upset have moved away, and there's 3 bulls coming. And we all know that it's much easier to deal with a bull than a cow. Oh, look at this monster. This could be the same big bull that we saw on drive the other day, and he'll be keeping these youngsters in check as well. If it is the same one, I'm trying to look at the tusk. He's got beautiful big tusks, and he is in must, and he's incredibly tall in the shoulder. Isn't that magnificent? He is a monster. Let's give him some space, and he's got that walk. So he is in must. So okay, we're gonna stop. He might come very close to the car, guys. Don't worry. That's enough. Good boy. So if I'd carried on moving, he might have chased the car. The reason I stopped is most animals are attracted to movement. So if you move, they will chase. So that's why I immediately stopped the car when I saw he wasn't going to move away from us. So very important to be much more careful. If you see that inside of the leg, that wet that's on the inside of his legs, and you're out in the Kruger, rather give that animal a bit of wide berth. Fortunately for us, I said we've got a lot of experience with these animals. So just moving in the wrong way slightly could entice that animal to move after you. Maybe not in an aggressive but curious manner, but when they're in must, their hormones are so heightened that sometimes the slight wrong movement at the wrong time can cause a problem for you.